Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new spoiler review of the brand new Amazon Prime show, Invincible. Before I give you my thoughts, spoiler fashion, of the season finale of Invincible, which premiered today or Thursday last night here, 9 p.m. PT in Los Angeles. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. The show was renewed for seasons 2 and 3, so let me know. Did you think they set up the episode nicely? Is this your favorite episode of the entire series? Do you love the series like I do? Let's have a fun discussion. I respond to every comment, so please comment down below in the comment section down below. Also, please hit the thumbs up on the like button. That's the best way to support this channel at the moment. Please share the video if you know other Invincible fans out there. Not a lot of people are talking about the show, so if you know other Invincible fans, please consider sharing this video to your friends, family, if they also watch Invincible. And also, please subscribe and ring that bell for notifications if you're new to the channel, to movie reviews, TV show reviews like these, streaming platform reviews, and movie rankings. Without further ado, let's get into my thoughts. As you know, guys, this has definitely now cemented itself as one of my favorite shows of all time. I absolutely love this show from top to bottom. It's a near flawless show for me, and this episode was amazing. I was talking about last week how that was my favorite episode and one of the best penultimate episodes I think I've ever seen. This is definitely one of the most satisfying endings that also does set up a season 2 and 3 really well here. So let's go through the episode. The first 25-30 minutes of the episode is just the fight between Mark and Omni-Man. Mark and Nolan fighting. They talked at first, and I was pretty emotional throughout this entire episode. I did start to tear up during the flashback scene, the baseball scene, but for the most part, it was an emotional ride. And you really felt every punch in this fight. You felt every death that was happening, but you also felt all the words they were talking about, especially when Nolan was talking about Debbie, and that really hit me hardest the most. The fact that he called Debbie a pet, and in the smear of things, her life doesn't matter, and the fact of someone's, from her point of view, so her husband saying that about her is a real gut punch, and she's very lost. She's been lied to for 20 years. Her and Mark have been lied to for 20 years, and we get the why this episode on why Nolan killed the Guardians of the Globe, and that's because Invincible is not just a protector of a planet. It's a person who goes to a planet to basically either succumb everyone to its empire or to kill everyone on Earth. And Nolan's job was to do that, but he still did feel that there's a slight bit of humanity in Nolan, and we saw that in the baseball scene. But in the first good 20 minutes of the episode, he's full-on mega villain. He's fighting. It's not like he's fighting Mark. He's kicking the crap out of Mark the entire episode. They send in these jets to go after Nolan and Mark saves one of those pilots who couldn't get out. And then when they drop down, he talks to the guy, and he's so relieved he's still alive. And Nolan just kills him, and right in front of Mark. And Mark couldn't believe he killed him, so he goes right back after him. And what I love about this episode is that Mark feels like it doesn't matter that he might live for thousands and thousands of years and still look the way he looks. He cares about his friends and his family now. And the idea of the main difference between Nolan and Mark is that Mark sees the little things, the little moments that make up humanity, and Nolan doesn't see that. Because he lives thousands and thousands of years, he believes one person or one moment isn't big enough, isn't above him living that long. And the fact that he doesn't care about his past family because they all were killed. So it's a really interesting dynamic, because you can tell Mark really does care about Amber, does really care about William, does really care about Adam Eve, does really care about his mom. And even though he'll outlive them by a lot, it still shows that he still cares for those moments. So I absolutely adore what they did with those two characters and their dynamic this episode. They keep fighting. Nolan, and as they're fighting a lot of these set pieces, innocent lives are getting killed left and right. And Nolan makes that clear. And why he keeps throwing him into these areas where people are getting killed is because these lives, in his opinion, don't matter in the grand scheme of things, which is tough for Mark to understand. But also, Mark is right. These lives do matter. These people, if they live 80 years old, or if they could live 1,000 years old, all the lives matter. And I think that I'm not trying to be political here. I'm just trying to speak to the episode as a whole. Sorry, I'm not trying to sound political, but it did make so much sense with the two characters. They did a great job. They're fighting, and even Nolan holds Mark, and they go through this train, and hundreds of people are getting killed on this train, and Mark is watching all of this happen. And then there was a building that was collapsing, and Mark was holding onto this person's arm. You'll be okay. And then the building collapsed. He's still holding on to that arm, and that arm is no longer attached to a person. So, and I think they've nailed a lot of superhero movies, obviously, don't really show these consequences of a superhero. It's very flashy. They save everyone. Everyone's happy at the end of the day. And for Mark, for the most part, a lot of innocents are getting killed when he is saving lives. And that really is just for the reality of being a superhero. You can't get every single life. And I thought that the reality and the authenticity of that was also very well done in this episode. As we continue on, so the fight ends. Before we get to the fight ends, the part that got me tearing up was this baseball scene flashback. When Nolan was in the middle of punching Mark, we cut to a perfect flashback of a little league, basically a game where Mark was playing baseball, and Nolan was pissed off that he was there. He said, "What is the point of this?" And Debbie keeps explaining to him why this is such a special moment, as Mark is just hitting a baseball and having fun. You say, "Look at his face," and I was tearing up. This is a very emotional moment for me. I'm getting choked up talking about it now. It was really good for me, someone who actually played baseball as a very young child. And this also hit the right notes for me as someone who played baseball throughout my entire childhood. And now to see what makes it special really spoke to me. And the fact that Nolan looked up, cared about the moment. You can tell Nolan has a glimpse of humanity that he learned from his wife and his son that he maybe would never have gotten if he stayed on Viltrum. And I thought that they absolutely nailed that. And that's why Nolan stops punching Mark in that mountain area, which also killed a lot of people. Mark is all in blood, as each episode has been building to. Every time I see the title card, it's splashed in blood. This episode is mostly splashed in blood. And we get that moment where Nolan goes away, and as he goes away, a piece of his cry does fall down. And you can tell Nolan does care about his son. While he definitely has a full-on motive, it feels like he goes back to Viltrum, which does set up that normally, as they talked about this episode, Viltrumites are very relentless. So for one to give up and have to come back speaks a lot. So we're going to see basically a war between a lot of big superheroes from Earth taking on Viltrumites, which I honestly cannot wait for. And really a half Viltrumite leading, and that's what everyone's confused about. He's not a full Viltrumite. That's the whole point of what makes Mark special, is that while he has Viltrumite powers, he has Earth human being ideals, which I absolutely adore about the character. So as they go back, Mark is in the hospital for a couple weeks on end. Cecil tells them that Nolan will be in the grave. Nolan's officially dead to the world. He died in that house explosion across the street. As we continue on, a lot of news reports, a lot of people are thinking about this. The Guardians of the Globe are also, they're saving lives. They're picking up the remnants of what the fights led to. And then at their house, William was waiting at the house while they were not there. Then Adam Eve switches into her high school Eve outfit. And William realized that she also knows about Mark. So we have that nice fun thing. And then you can see Amber getting emotional watching it as well. And you really felt for all the supporting characters, but you also felt for Debbie a ton. She was listening to all the conversations that were happening between Mark and Nolan. And that it hit me same way it hit her. Very emotional stuff there this episode with Debbie's character. Debbie's a mess. She not wasted, but she lived a lie for 20 years. Her husband lived a lie to them for 20 years. And that's a lot to take in. A lot. And then when he was saying she was a pet to him and all this stuff, it was truly awful stuff he was saying about Debbie. So then Debbie goes down after she's crying when they come home, and she cried when she left the hospital bed. She goes down to have the conversation with Art, Mark Hamill's character, who makes all the suits. And they pretty much were the closest ones to Nolan, and seeing them have a drink about it was very nice. Mark's at the house, and Amber comes up, kisses him, and was like, yes, because Amber finally realizes what Mark has been going through, and they're going to be back together, which is very nice. And then William shows up, and Eve shows up as well. So, and they realize that she's Adam Eve. So all the fun stuff. And then we end the episode with Mark going into space. Someone needs to find him. He thought it was Nolan. It was Seth Rogen's alien character, and their planet was completely taken over by the Viltrumites. And they're building a team that can hopefully stop Viltrum. And Mark, for Earth, seems like the head person to fight these people. So it definitely sets up a huge collision between Viltrumites on Earth, a lot more than just Nolan. And Mark will be at the head of it for the Earth people. So overall, guys, I adore the show. It's my favorite shows of all time. I absolutely love this show, top to bottom, flawless show for me. A lot of issues became resolved in later episodes, and this is just a classic superhero show for me. My favorite superhero properties, everything is favorite for me. I absolutely adore Invincible and Amazon Prime. So if you feel the same way, let me know in the comment section down below your spoiler thoughts on the show. Do you love it just like me? Do you actually tell me your issues with the show? Am I missing anything? Please like the video, subscribe. 2 more movie reviews are coming out today, so stay tuned to that. So ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys in a